representation, then you can see around 18.5% students are from Uttar Pradesh and around 14% are from Maharashtra. So we have around 24 states and union territory representation in our MBA batch, and these are the category distribution as per the reservation norms of Government of India.
Chairman Board of Governors, IIM Jammu, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of J&K Bank, Shri Milind Kamble, Shri Baldev Prakash ji, Director IIM Shri Sahai, Director AIMS Dr. Shakti Gupta, Dean Academy IIM and IIT, and dear students. First of all, on behalf of the UT of J&K, let me welcome you all to Jammu. Also, let me congratulate you for having qualified and cleared difficult exams and joined the prestigious Indian Institute of Management. Many of you who have joined this prestigious institute, I am sure, are looking forward to higher positions and higher roles in whichever sector you are working. Some of you also must be looking at changing roles after upgrading your skills and qualifications. There are very senior students here of PhD. I'm sure you all must be looking at senior advisory roles or senior faculty roles. As a senior leader or a senior manager, a leader if you are heading the organization, or a senior manager if you are heading a particular branch inside a firm or an industry. You have a certain role to perform. And as senior managers and leaders, now you have to define who manages raw materials, who manages processing, who manages the finished product, who does the marketing, and so on. So these roles you have to set up and define for people working with you. Subsequently, a very key role is managing the finances. You have to prepare a budget, and then you have to find out the source of funds. And now for a private industry, the source of funds can be equity or debt or loan or personal investment. For government service, it might be the funds which are allocated out of the tax collections or loans from the ADB and IMF and so on, World Bank, because these are huge projects which the government takes up, and these requires a lot of money, and there are people financing those projects or organizations financing those projects. And then subsequently you have to look for the utilization of funds, whether it is allocation. In the government we get funds under various heads like the salaries, the material supplies, the office expenses and so on. So there are various heads under which these funds are granted. And then what is required is production and delivery. Production if you are in the production industry, delivery if you are in the services industry. And after this, there are certain other major roles which as a leader you must perform.
What a wonderful choice they have made, not just in passing the prestigious CAT examination, but also in coming to Jammu and Kashmir and Jammu, where your IIM is located. Not so long ago, Jammu was known as the city of temples, also because of the Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Ji shrine. But in the past 2.5, 3 years, the higher education sector has seen a remarkable turnaround. we have had the privilege of having been sanctioned an IIT, an IIM and an AIMS, and not just having them sanctioned, but setting them and having them up and running in record time, to an extent that today all the three institutions are collaborating to offer a course on hospital administration together. Jammu is probably the only comparable city of its size which has an IIT, an IIM, an AIMS, a conventional university, a cluster university, a couple of engineering colleges, over 10 ordinary colleges, a school of architecture, a medical college, and none less than the Honorable President of India remarked on this when he was here with us last month for addressing the convocation of the IIM Jammu. So these are exciting times for Jammu and Kashmir, and I am sure the young IIM, the young IIT, the young IIM, the young AIMS are poised to achieve far greater heights, and with people from all over the country coming and joining this institution, I am sure we are all poised for a much brighter and better future. As I talk to you young students, let me ask you, what does a university or what does a good college do? Why do we all join a good university or a good college? Why do we not just present our credentials, our knowledge to potential employers and be selected by them? Why do we not homeschool ourselves? Among the many benefits that a good university or a good college or a good institute is what educational psychologists call the signaling mechanism. Being to a good institution signals that you are among the best and the brightest, and that potential employers should consider you for higher responsibilities. By just crossing that one hurdle and getting into a good institution, you have won half the battle, because you are signaling to your employers your worth, and thus obviating the need of your employers of having to test you again and again and again. The skills most lacking in individuals, or the skills of the future that were most likely to be in demand, were the so-called soft skills. And what are those skills? Communication, working in teams, working in uncertainty, making sense out of unstructured situations, consensus building. The more hardwired we become, the more the deficiency of soft skills in us. The more the world is getting connected, the greater the hyper-connectedness of this world, the greater isolation that we are in. A study done by Time magazine found out that the greatest problem of the next decade and of the next century is going to be suicidal tendencies born out of isolation. Such is the isolation to you, dear students, is to remain in touch with this rapidly changing world, that are going to be increasingly needed in a hyper-connected world, and to move away from a purely theoretical construct to an applied construct. The new education policy talks about breaking down all silos.
Let me start by acknowledging the presence of Dr. Nitin Kante, who is chairman of DOG, Professor Shakti Gupta, Professor Manoj Gaur, Jabir Ali, and Professor B.S. Hai, who has invited me to this discussion and orientation program. I think when you start on your orientation program, that's a very, very important day in your life. You are embarking on a new journey, and very often the students miss the importance of the orientation program. So whichever students or future students are listening to this orientation program, let me say that please listen very carefully what the orientation program is telling you, because This will set you on your path for next few years. And that's extremely important. You would recognize 4 years later, some of you, that had you attended to the orientation program as meticulously as you need to do, you would have done better in the course than you would have done otherwise. So it's very, very important that all the students take this orientation program very seriously and listen to the advice which all the illustrious persons present on the dais are give you. It's an important day in your life for all these students because you are embarking on a new journey. You have made you have reached some milestone in your life, and that sets you on a different path. You have been able to kind of distinguish yourself with the rest of the pack and move ahead of many of them, which is very, very welcome. So let me compliment all of you for having reached thus far. But remember one thing. Life is a journey, and there are no stoppages there. And as you reach one milestone, you move to the next milestone. And I hope that your reaching this milestone is going to lead to many more milestones in your life. And when you come out of the institute that you are joining today, which is a very prestigious institution, let me say that you are very fortunate to be in Jammu IIM. Jammu is the only city which can today boast of both IIT, IIM and the AIMS, and it doesn't happen too often. So you are very lucky to be part of IIM Jammu and very lucky to be kind of schooled by people like Professor Sahai and others and in the overall directionship of the Board of Governors. For all the people who are attending the orientation program, you are joining a very prestigious institution for learning. Now, what do we learn about? Do we learn few theories here and there? You learn game theory or operations research or the like? Is that what you do? Yes, of course, that much you do. But what is important to learn what goes behind it? We all learn about things like Newton's third law or whatever laws you may talk, Maxwell's law, or whatever laws you learn. The important thing is to understand how do you use them in life. And as you learn all the management theories, my request to all the students, future students, is that learn to understand them, assimilate them, and learn to use them. That is more important than mere learning about what is a theory and what it does to you. But how do you use them in your practical life is the most important thing. And I would request entire IIM Jammu people, all the faculty members, that I think is the most critical element of what we do. How do we use learning into our real life situations? And I'm sure that IIM Jammu must be doing extremely well on that, but that is something where the government can help the students to learn in IIM and also apply in real life while they are still learning in their 4-year course that they might be having. And in this direction, I would strongly request both Rohit Kansalji and all the people present on the dais that look, how do we use them while they are still learning, and how do they use that knowledge in their lives? In India, we have many prestigious institutions like IIT and IIM, but how many new theories are coming out of India, which is cutting-edge theory? That is something that we need to understand, and we need to start believing in ourselves. One of the things I request all the students to do is start believing in yourself. You are second to none. So long as you believe in that, I think that's very, very important message to carry. Nobody is born a genius. You become genius by your hard work. And if you start learning to be the best, not the second best, that's the mantra I would like to request all of you to imbibe. We are very satisfied with being said that we rank in top 200, top 100. That's not the point. The point is, can we be at the cutting edge, and can we reach the levels of excellence that we need to attain? If you look at the global economy, there are few ideas that generate so much of income. These are income that are generated by ideas. If you take Microsoft, if you take Google, they're all bona fide ideas, and they became so big. Why can't some of these ideas come from IIMs, or for that matter IITs? Why do we need to be the second or third best? Why can't we be the best? And my request to all the students, we would have loved to be the best, but I'm sure that the new generation would fulfill our dream on the right path. That's where we deserve to be. 4 points I would like to make here, that while you are embarking on a new journey, you will be learning to earn. This is important because you need a certain basic minimum in your life and you need to learn to earn. But that's one part of it. But more important is learn to serve people. It is equally important. You need to learn to serve people, your country, and the society. And as you grow, please grow with a feeling of not only money or earning, but I think is extremely important. Equally important is learn to be a good human being. We can all become very rich. We can all become very successful. At the end of the day, what you will remember is, did you become a good human being? And I think that value system is extremely important. And I very strongly request all of you who are attending this program that please remember, you can be a multi-billionaire, but so long as you're not multi-billionaire in terms of human values, it is of no value. So learn to be a good human being, and that will give you more satisfaction than anything else. I would very strongly request that we develop a program in collaboration with IITs, IIMs, and we already have that program where all of us can converge together. How do we ensure that the learning that we have serves the society better? Can they be made to take some field examples, and we can organize that. It can be an internship, it can be whatever name it goes by. But I'm sure that, for example, I see that MD of J&K Bank, Mr. Badeji is there. Now, can the IIM help do banking better in terms of what it does? So real life problems, real-time solutions, I think that's what I would also request all of you to think about. Last thing I would like to say that when we are in our teens or early part of our adult life, we often think that probably I'm too young. Remember, theory of relativity was not discovered at the age of 30, it was much earlier. So you are at that age of your life where you are probably at your prime and not something that you need to wait for another 30 years to get to the prime. So what am I trying to say ultimately? Just four or five things to recall. One is that this is an important day in your life. Please assimilate what is being told to you by all your great esteemed faculty members and Director IIM. Listen to that very carefully, and that's important. B, learn to be the best in your society and the world. Don't be satisfied with being the second best or third best. That is not what India needs from you. Third, to become a better human being as well. And human values at the end of your career, whenever successful life that you will probably lead, at the end of the day, what will give you maximum satisfaction is how good a human being you became. Did you really wipe out tears of the eyes of the people? Did you really help people define jobs? Did you become a job provider or a job seeker? Both are equally important, but that's what you need to think about. Did you reach your potential in a life? That's very, very important. And last but not the least, what you learn, you must learn how to use that learning in real life situations. If you imbibe all this while you are in the institution, very prestigious one, I think you'll become a much better person and a much more successful person.